First to experience the pressure was Molloy Parks, with Dad Les on his back, keeping the big man in the moment. High and right in the end from Molloy, but safe enough. He will be playing from sand with his second. Time now to hear from a man who's seen many a European Tour pro play these 3 holes. Here's our playoff panel regular Richard Simmons for his take on the test ahead.
3 very strong holes on the Nicklaus designed heritage course here at the London Club, starting at the 10th, which is just over 400 yards. I think it's 404 from the tee they're playing from. And unless they feel like Rory McIlroy in the European Open last year, who flew it, I'm guessing 360 over all the trouble, this may not even be a driver for them. The wind is slightly across from the left. I think really it's a case of just hitting the fairway, and really if you can be centre to left of the fairway, you've got a better shot in at the pin, which is on the front of the green. The big danger is if you just lose one in the wind and it just flies and balloons high to the right, you can be in all sorts of trouble and really struggle to make your par from down there. But anything on the fairway gives you a chance. There's a bit of room up front left. You can feed one in from there. Second shot all about selection of the right club, getting the distance right. Very strong opening hole.
Daniel Broad next, and having finished second with 40 points in regulation, he started the playoff in some style with a classy tee shot for position A on the fairway. Which left RD's Tom Muldoon to tee off last, watched by an impressive playoff gallery here at the London Golf Club. With his short game in such amazing shape, it was Tom's driving and mid-irons that would have to stand up to the playoff analysis. Driver number 1 leaked a long way right though. Trouble for Muldoon. Here's Richard again.
Nicklaus knows how to ask you the question, especially on the tee. That's where it all starts. And as he always used to say, he never hit a shot until he actually had a good picture in his mind about what he was trying to do with the ball. Off the tee, you need to have a very clear picture of what you want to do and see the shot that you want to play. Leaving it to luck isn't going to work.
A rough start for Tom Muldoon then. He hacked it out to relative safety and opened up the green for his 3rd shot. And there was a certain amount of swagger from the playoff boys heading down the 10th fairway, trying to keep their mind on the job in hand as well, with William, as ever, in the thick of the action. Jamie PAYNE hit next, crashing it out of the sand to the back of this elevated green. It was a great shot. Molloy Parks from the next bunker up couldn't get the same result with his second. Still playable though. That left Daniel Broad with a chance to grab the playoff by the neck, but he couldn't get the ball off the deck. Not a bad outcome in the end, but the crowd and the cameras saw it all. Daniel left with no choice but to laugh it off. Muldoon needed one of his short game specials, but just got too far under this pitch to make the green. Parks also needed to nuzzle up cosy to the pin to get back in the comfort zone with his 3rd, but he couldn't hit the dance floor either. Back to business for Broad and a clever bump and run. The crowd liked it. He was there for 3. PAYNE next, just a touch too bold with his 3rd, and the green did the rest on the downslope. Parks made his chip look easy in the end, using the contours very well indeed. And finally, Muldoon joined the party. He was left with that to stay in the hunt. All on the green then, PAYNE for birdie, Broad for birdie, with Parks and Muldoon for par. The pars were good, but Broad and PAYNE couldn't take advantage. In the end, all 4 players headed for the par 3 11th level. So the question remains, who's going to blink first in this Trilby Tour playoff here at the London Club? It's a Nicklaus Classic hole next. Find out how the boys cope with it after the break.
Netflights.com, sponsors of the William Hunt Trilby Tour.
Welcome back to the London Golf Club for more playoff action from event number 2 on this year's Trilby Tour. All four men are level going into the second playoff hole, the par 3 11th. Here's Richard Simmons to tell us more.
It is tricky. It's a characteristic Nicklaus par 3, a great hole, strong downhill hole. Reminds me a little bit of the 11th at St Melian in Cornwall, which is another tournament course. Playing about 170, and again in the wind, I think that the key is to just go for the middle of the green. You don't want to be taking on the pin, especially if it's tucked in behind a bunker, but middle of the green with a good iron shot and you're in play.
Malloy Parks wasn't quite listening. He pushed his tee shot to leave a real tester from the bank surrounding this green. Jamie PAYNE was very annoyed with himself after failing to take his chance at the first playoff hole, but a sweet strike at the 11th got his fans right behind him. Advantage PAYNE. For Daniel Broad, the spectre of his low-flying second shot on the first playoff hole was still with him. He scuffed another one, way short of the green, but it rolled and rolled, leaving him with at least some sort of shot, once he cleaned the egg off his face, that is. You can't get away from it. Sometimes the experience of a Trilby Tour playoff can be painful. That left 42-point hero Tom Muldoon to hit last, and like Jamie PAYNE, Tom hit the target. Two on and two off, but with some swashbuckling golf, back came Broad with an exceptional recovery shot. Parks also used his get-out-of-jail-free card to great effect, back in the playoff with another good effort. And so the chances presented themselves once again. Muldoon's putt, though, didn't have the legs. And it didn't get any better from there. In the end, it was a drop shot for Tom, leaving him on 1 over par in joint second place. Jamie PAYNE also came up short and left himself with a real stinker for par. But he holed it for the lead. A great shot from Jamie. And now, as the psychologist would tell you, it was time to stay in the moment. And whatever you do, don't let your mind wander to thoughts of victory. Oh dear, too late. Daniel Broad couldn't quite make the save, but after his tee shot, he was grateful to come away in joint second place at only 1 over. And Malloy Parks also made life difficult for himself on this second playoff hole. He too failed to make par, but only one shot down on the leader PAYNE meant that he was still in the hunt heading to 18, the last playoff hole.